On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Iker and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we make the selections for the OU football painting at my house. It's intense. Then we give you our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, July 24th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Iker and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options in the month of July, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Training camp, 1 week. So much
Yes,
anticipation, so much excitement for this season of Oklahoma football. It's so close, Ted. Let's go.
I know. I know it. I'm excited. We go through this every year where you're excited, but this one, yeah, it feels a little bit different. All right,
I,
when you're kicking
I
it off, man.
is it weird that I'm nervous? Like I don't know why. That I
No, I
feel like I'm antsy about it. I feel like I'm about to have to go practice. I've never felt like that since I've been part of the radio broadcast and doing the TV stuff. You're right, man. This season just feels different. It
yeah.
feels it feels bigger. Some would say it just means more.
Well, it's just because of how it looks and the stakes are high, right? If you're not prepared, if things don't go well, if injuries, I mean, you hate to say it, but you do have to acknowledge that you can have a season where you catch an injury bug or something, and you have guys like there's just there's a lot on the line. The reputation of our program going into the SEC feels like it's hanging in the balance. I mean, there's a lot out there.
You and I, especially you, I'm not saying we got a lot on the line, but I think we have voiced our opinion clearly that we think Oklahoma football is going to come into the SEC and be just fine.
Hmm.
If the first season doesn't go well, we're prepared. We're mentally prepared. We're grown-ups. We're big boys. We will take the heat that comes our way, but I prefer they come out, have a healthy training camp, and play really, really well. That is my preference.
Yep.
But we're prepared either way. We're prepared either way. I'm ready for this thing. It's almost here, man.
Nope. I know it. I agree. I feel good about it. I like where we're at. Let's just see if they can go get the work done and put themselves in the right position.
Yeah. So the couple next our next couple episodes, we'll be diving into some of the biggest storylines, biggest question marks entering training camp. But for this episode, if you did not listen to Sunday's episode, here's what's about to go down. We are going through a very fun exercise. My wife and I, we are getting a custom painting done for our cabana of what I am just saying is great OU football players and moments. My initial list had 66 names on it. That list has since expanded. I've added more, which is not what this process is supposed to be. But I have talked to the artists. Shout out to my man Carlos Barboza. Talked to him on Monday. He said 30 is acceptable. He said he can work with 30, Ted. So we got some tough decisions to make. Who makes this painting? Who doesn't? And I don't want to get overly focused on that. Hey, it's got to be 30 number.
Hmm.
I think we should go through the exercise, just kind of see where we land. And then if we got to make some tough cuts at the very end, so be it. But what do you think about that? I think the easiest way to do this is go offense defense.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
think
like
that's
how we
right.
preview the games and how we recap the games. Offense defense. I think it's just a natural way of doing this. What do you think about that?
I think that's right, and I think you're right about not really necessarily getting caught up on the numbers. Like you have to go through and check the must-haves. Like has to be like there's some things that absolutely have to be included.
Let us begin. Now, I know I said we're going to do offense defense. We got to start with this question. Coaches. First of all, are we putting coaches on it?
If you're asking me, it's absolutely yes.
Okay. I felt
At
the
a
same way.
at a minimum, you have to put Coach Stoops on there. Okay, let me back up for a second. So it is my opinion that the overall okay, I believe that this thing needs to tilt towards you. You know what? Does this make sense? Like
Yes.
instead of just being a general Oklahoma football thing, I think it should be a slant towards your experience.
Okay. I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense because it's going at my house.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where this is not a conversation about necessarily the best players in the history of OU football.
Correct.
It is about bringing meaning. It is about the emotional connection that I'm going to have to this oil painting, which
Yeah.
sounds
Like you're going
ridiculous.
to be standing there showing it to people. It would make sense that you could tell the stories of some guys that you played with or games that you watched as a kid, like those types of things. So I, whenever I was going through all the names, I had a more recent slant on it because I think it's a lot of things that you either have like as someone who covers the team and has watched it as a fan after you were done playing and before you were there. So that's kind of how I viewed it.
All right, let's start with the coaches. The must haves. Bob Stoops, our coach.
Mm-hmm.
10 conference titles, national title. I mean, there's just absolutely no doubt that Bob Stoops is on there. Barry Switzer, 3 national titles, 10 conference titles. And then it feels like you have to have Bud Wilkinson on there. 3 national titles, 14 conference titles, and the 47 game win streak. I'm sorry, Benny Owen. I'm sorry. I know that the field is named after you, but no national titles, only 3 conference titles. You compare his winning percentage to the other coaches, and it's not in the same ballpark. I think it's only those 3 coaches: Stoops, Switzer, Wilkinson. That's where my head's at, Ted. But you are my voice of reason. You are the guy. This is this exercise. We are bouncing things off each other. What do you think?
Well, I you have to have Coach Stoops on there. Um, I think Coach Switzer is. I mean, that's not like if you were really trying to thin it out, you could probably just go with Coach Stoops. But I think you got to have Switzer on there. And if you're doing Coach Stoops and Coach Switzer, it feels like you can't leave Bud Wilkinson out. But I'll offer this: you could have Coach Switzer and Coach Stoops, and in a tribute to Coach Bud Wilkinson, like maybe over the top of the thing, the play like a champion deal.
Ooh.
Because I think that needs to be included in it somehow,
Okay.
if that makes
That's
sense.
that's a fantastic idea. Does it feel because we all know what Bud Wilkinson accomplished. Is it necessary to see his face, or is it more like, the play like a champion sign was him, and the 47 game win streak was him?
Mm-hmm.
This is starting to feel like it's going to be our longest podcast ever, by the way.
I know we're not making up much ground. Um, I I don't. It's tough.
So
Like
Stoops is an absolute like must
yes,
have. Switzer, absolute must have, or no?
yeah. I if I were doing it, I would have Coach Stoops and Coach Switzer like together. Coach Stoops standing in the epic picture of Coach Switzer where he squatted down with the cig in his mouth is what I would have
Okay.
on
I
the
will let the
sideline.
artist choose. There's a couple of really good pictures of Switzer just standing with his hands on his hips
Yeah.
where it's got great hair, or maybe you could do the Beat Texas hat on him with the
Yeah.
stance,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of hard to beat the smoking the cig picture. Even though I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, but it no one can deny that that is an incredible picture of Barry
Yeah.
Switzer.
Yep.
Okay, Bud Wilkinson. Teddy just chopped you.
Well, I mean,
Co- Coach
it's
Stoops,
tough.
Coach Stoops picture, crystal ball over his head, or just like a classic, he's pointing and yelling at something picture.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and part of me thought because I think the one at Oklahoma State where he's like on the like doing the fist bump on the sideline. That wasn't that the game, Blake Bell's game
Correct.
that you were in. So that's what I was thinking. Like that's kind of
So cold, by the way.
yeah,
Brought
yeah.
the righty out of the bullpen.
That's right.
Went and won us the football game. Okay, so we have established coaches, Barry Switzer and Bob Stoops. And then to honor Bud Wilkinson, Play Like a Champion incorporated into the painting, and maybe like a 47 somewhere. Thoughts?
Yep, yep. I
Okay.
like it.
I love that. That feels right. That feels good.
Mm-hmm.
On to quarterbacks. Oh boy. So
Tough.
must haves. Here's what I've got for must haves: Kyler Murray, Baker
Mm-hmm.
Mayfield, Sam Bradford, Jason White, and then I feel Josh Heupel's got to be on there,
Yep.
because when I was a kid, like Heupel, and clearly you played with him, he ended up coaching me. Fun fact: he was the first quarterback I ever snapped a football to.
Nice.
During spring after practice one day, he was like, "All right, let's try this." Yeah, he was the first quarterback I ever snapped a football to. But clearly, there's a theme with those guys: Kyler, Baker, Bradford, Jason White, all Heisman Trophy winners, and then Heupel, Heisman Trophy runner-up and national champion.
Yep. And I agree. You've got on the rundown the pick with hype on the shoulders is awesome. That's exactly what I would do. Um, Baker, I like the Heisman pose still, the Oklahoma State thing is awesome. And
The only
Kyler,
question with Baker,
yeah.
I think we've got two options, and I do think Baker Mayfield needs to be like part of the focal point of the painting.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just means I it's him and Bosworth when it comes to the most loved OU player ever. I think that's the conversation. The Heisman pose where he's running, like it's almost too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we get him in the middle of this painting planting the flag at Ohio State?
That would be awesome too. I
Which
thought you
I
were going
was
to
at that
say,
game doing TV.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think that's one of the tougher choices in this entire process is what do you do for Baker Mayfield? And I won't lie, part of me contemplated the Kansas situation as well.
focal point right there, front and center.
Multiple focal points. but I just think it, and I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not, because I think that situation, while some people did not look on it favorably, I think that represents what Baker was kind of about and what made him great in college, like that edge,
Hmm.
that attitude. Probably don't want to put it on a penny, but I seriously considered it. But I think we got to make a decision between the Heisman pose and the flag plant.
I would say if you've got to make it, I would say the flag plant is probably the cooler moment to capture.
Is this one of these situations where we just I send both pictures to the artist and I said, hey man, you make the decision? Or
Uh,
we just go on flag plant?
I think you go flag plant.
Flag plant it is.
Yeah.
Decided.
And then I know that I Blake Bell, in my opinion, 100% has to be in on the painting in some form. I don't it to me it's 100%. Has to be.
Okay. Does that mean I leave off Landry Jones? You got to remember, I started 4 years. Landry was my quarterback for three of them. Awesome guy. He's also the all-time leading passer in OU football history by over 4,000 yards. Do I leave him off? It's clear Blake Bell I think he is a beloved Sooner, right? He's
Hmm.
also one of my best friends. The Belldozer, that package was a kind of a core part of my time at Oklahoma. And he's also one of the guys most likely to come over to my house and see this painting.
I I was thinking, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to like you could I can picture like each of these together, but it's hard to see the whole thing. But
That's what Carlos Barbosa is for. He's the
I
creative
know.
guy that's going to put this all together.
Well, what I was gonna say is because I was thinking definitely Kenny Stills. Um, and like if you wanted to like catch in the slant or something at West Virginia, if you could get both of those guys in that picture somehow or
Good
something, you know?
good ball from Landry.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was thinking on that one, but you know,
So we're going Belldozer is an absolute has to be on there. And then how about this? We'll put Landry in the maybe category for now.
yeah.
And we'll see
Okay.
where we're at the end. Because that would be what, seven quarterbacks on there?
I know.
It's a lot of QBs, but hey, it's kind of what happens when you play quarterback. You get a lot of
We've
recognition.
we've covered one position and we're already
Let's
knocking on
just
double digits.
let's just let's just keep it rolling.
We're at 10 people already.
Running
Okay.
backs. Running backs. Adrian Peterson.
Hmm.
No brainer.
Yep.
I think the only question is what pose are we looking for? I feel like it's got to be one of the dark visor pictures. There's a great picture of him hurdling in Bedlam. There's also, should it just be one of those where he's running so fast that his head is like bobbing up and down like he's a racehorse?
Yeah, that'd be good. I think any of those, I mean, any Adrian Peterson moment is going to be epic on there, however they capture it. So yeah, it's a must. And like the other one for me, like personally, if I was doing something, I would definitely have Joe Washington on there.
You love
Uh,
Joe Washington.
because I love Joe Washington. But uh, I think you could also uh, favor the guys that you blocked for. I think that's important for like any of those like those marks that those guys hit statistically or awards or whatever like that you had a piece in.
DeMarco Murray. I blocked for him in 2010. He had 1,800 yards, line of scrimmage yards, right? Because remember, he was fantastic at catching the ball out of the backfield. Scored 20 touchdowns. Is part of the coaching staff now. I feel like DeMarco's got to be on there.
Yeah, yeah. DeMarco, that's an easy one. Ad- Adrian, DeMarco, and um, it's hard not to go with P. Ryan.
P. Ryan is OU's all-time leading rusher. He's got the NCAA single game rushing record. Also, just a fantastic guy. And one of the cooler pictures taking a knee against Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now, was he a freshman when you were a senior?
no,
No, missed it by 1 year.
we. This is the thing is we haven't even talked about Billy Sims.
I know.
Heisman Trophy, College Football Hall of Fame. Well, he was the first pick of the draft.
I think so.
1-1.
I think so.
It's not barbecue, it's boomer Q. I mean, just we haven't even mentioned Steve Owens. Heisman, College Football Hall of Fame. Billy Vestals, Heisman, College Football Hall of Fame. Are we going to leave Heisman Trophy winners off? Because it's starting to feel like we haven't even mentioned. It's starting to feel like we're leaving Heisman Trophy winners off.
I think I don't think you have a choice because
Okay.
if you put one on, well, I guess not necessarily, but if you include Steve Owens or Billy Sims, it kind of feels like you have to include all of the Heisman guys, right? And maybe you do, but I don't know.
So we've got, so for running back, I think our must haves right now, we've got Adrian Peterson
Yes.
and DeMarco Murray
Yes.
for must haves. I think we are putting Billy Sims and Joe Washington in the let's see where we end up at the end category.
Yeah.
Leaving P. Ryan off.
The all-time leading rusher at OU off the list. It's part of the burden of having such a good program. You know,
Does this feel right? Do we feel good about it? Are we moving on?
none of it feels right.
Okay, good point. Fair enough.
You know, none of it feels right. But I I think we've made a good case for all the guys that were. I mean, it's tough. You got to make cuts. It's cut day.
Wide receiver. These are the guys I have on the list. Mark Clayton, Ryan Broyles, Hollywood Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Sterling Shepard, Kenny Stills. I think my only absolute has to be on their guy is Ryan Broyles.
Mm-hmm.
He's the all-time leading receiver by over 1,000 yards. He scored 45 touchdowns. He had 23 100-plus yard games. That's 8 more than the guy in second, who is Mark Clayton at 15. Ryan Broyles does not get the respect he deserves. I always tell people I think he's the best player I played with in college, him and DeMarco. But, I mean, he was an absolute dog. Oklahoma guy, played together a lot. He absolutely has to be on there for me.
Yeah.
The other guys, it's an interesting discussion. What do you think?
Well, so in my opinion, like part of it also is how cool can like the picture of CeeDee Lamb with the one-handed grab
Not
that
going on
everyone
there. It
knows.
was an incomplete pass. I'm just
Okay.
sorry. I will not glorify an incomplete pass. I refuse.
Okay. Uh, Shep.
There's some sweet pictures of CD out there though. There's a couple
Yeah.
where he's just running and he looks like he's just floating off the ground. You're like, my gosh.
Um, Shep with the Tennessee picture is awesome, iconic. Everyone knows that one. Um, you know, I wrote down like how because we at our radio station we have like the picture of Drake Stoops like in the air backwards flipping over with one shoe reaching for the pylon, and it's like stuff like that would make it look awesome if it was in there, but you know it's all about fitting the right guys on there. But Ryan Broyles is the must, and it would feel weird if you only had one wide receiver on there.
My so I think this is a tough process. D.D. Westbrook is OU's only Biletnikoff winner. Guy was a Heisman finalist, and my initial thought was he doesn't have a spot on here.
Yeah.
Like as good as that season was, had an incredible season. I don't know, doesn't move the needle for me for this painting. I'm not sure why, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it's interesting, and we're going to get into this era a little bit more, but Mark Clayton was at OU for 5 years. Ryan Broyles was at OU for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like you have those guys that were there for a long time, and guys got to kind of watch them grow up. So I think that's why there's a little bit more of a legacy there. That's the only reason I could think of, like maybe guys like Didi don't get talked about as much.
That makes sense. Sterling Shepard and Kenny Stills are two guys I played with, two guys that were fantastic players. And I think they are, I've got them in the maybe category right now. I think they may be in the must have category because when you think about Shep, Oklahoma City guy, played together. He's the second leading receiver in OU history. And he's part of some of my favorite football memories. Right.
Yeah.
The touchdown against Notre Dame at South Bend, the plays he made in the Sugar Bowl. It's really, for me, it's really hard not to have him on there. But I
Yeah.
think it's Shep over Mark Clayton, over D.D. Westbrook, over Hollywood. Like, I think Shep, I think it would be more meaningful for me to have him on there than those other guys.
Easy decision. Easy. I like it.
Kenny Stills, does he make it or does he not? Here's the thing. Great teammate. We always got along for whatever reason. Always got along very well. And there's just one moment that I think just has to be on there. We went and played Florida State in 2011. They were number 5. We were number 1. College game day. And go end up winning the football game. And Kenny Stills catches the game winning touchdown. And the camera gets on him and he puts up the 12 because that was the year that Box died before the season. And I feel like there would be so much meaning in that one image, like just to unpack if you were talking about this with anyone, that I feel like that's almost like one of the images that absolutely has to be on there for me now that I
That's what I'm
talk about it out loud.
see that, and that's the stuff that I'm talking about. I that needs to be on there for like the story time, and I love that. That I would say that's a must have.
Okay. That is a must have. CD Lamb, on or off? OU's last first team All American, by the way. When you look at OU football's website, and they don't put you on there, they don't put you on that wall unless you make one of the big, what is it, 4 or 5 publications, unless you make first team All American.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the wall twice, Ted. Don't worry. I'm only on there once. But CeeDee Lamb is the last guy that has been put on the wall. 2019.
That's crazy.
Complete stud. Everyone remembers the Texas play.
Yeah.
NFL stud.
I it's easy to make a case that he should be on there, but again, like we're halfway through offense and we've got like 18 guys already. So that's, I mean, I don't know.
Okay. We'll put him in the maybe category.
Maybe. Okay.
Tight end. Really only three options to consider, in my opinion. Keith Jackson,
Yeah.
Jermaine Gresham, Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Mark Andrews is the all-time leader in yards for tight end. He's a better pro than he was a college player, and he's OU's only Mackey Award winner. I love the guy.
Here's what I would say on the tight end spot. I would say that what's the coolest picture or moment? And to me, it's Keith Jackson hauling ass down the sideline. You know?
I College football Hall of Famer, just a complete stud. You see him now. That dude is a unit still.
Mm-hmm.
But 1985 end around against Nebraska is an iconic Oklahoma play. That would play to any of the older people that came over to the house and saw this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things about that play, because as I was researching all this, I went and watched that play. I believe it's Keith Jackson calling Keith Jackson's end around. He says at one point he's running out of gas while he is just blowing by a defensive back, like in clearly running faster than him towards the end zone.
That's
Running out of
funny.
gas, my ass, Keith Jackson. I mean, no, he was not. He was not running out of gas.
That's funny.
Go
That's
watch
funny.
it, people. I mean, at no point does he look like he's running out of gas. He's like gaining steam the entire time. It's insane.
Oh wow. Like so that for me, that's like of the three you've got listed, all amazing, but I think it's just easier to capture that moment. And it's I don't know. I guess it kind of there's also going to be people there that maybe don't know the history, and it'll be nice to have some of those historical moments on there too.
Yeah. National title season. So
Yeah.
there's a lot there. Now, when you look at Gresh, he would have, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt for the '09 year, he would be the all time leader in yards for
Yeah.
OU for tight ends. Scored 26 touchdowns. Played together. He's an Ardmore guy, like really good pro career. I kind of feel bad leaving him off, but if we're leaving Mark Andrews off,
Yeah.
so are we just going Keith Jackson, iconic end around against Nebraska in '85?
I think that's the if I had to put a tight end on there, that's probably what I would select.
Feels right.
Hmm.
I hope Mark Andrews never listens to this because he will be pissed.
I know it. I know it.
Fullback. Trey Millard is going on there. The hurdle
Well, there you
stiff
go.
arm in 2012 against Texas. Probably the most iconic play of my time at Oklahoma. I will be able to point to that, talk about how we dismantled them in 2011 and then dismantled them again in 2012. And I will probably still express frustration that they scored on the last play of the game in that football game. It should have
Yeah,
been a 7 touchdown win. It was a 63-21 win, but it should have been a 7 touchdown win. But that
that's
play,
funny.
not only do I think that clearly has to be on there, it is, I think it's got to be one of the focal points of this painting because it was just, by the way, he didn't score on the play. Would have been way cooler if he did. Ran all the way down there. I was like, you couldn't score, dude? Come on. But it is it is I think it's just one of the iconic OU plays ever. And clearly, Trey was a groomsman in my wedding. We were very, very close in college. Like, I don't know. Everything tells me that not only is that on there, it's got to be a focal point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got no complaints with that. That's a awesome picture. Played together, easy.
Offensive line to round out offense.
This has to be the most difficult.
This is not easy. I think I really think there are two must haves for me. Trent Williams, just complete and utter dog. All American, going to be an NFL Hall of Famer. Some of my favorite stories, good and bad, involve Trent Williams. And he's just a complete stud. And then I think the other one, I thought it was Jamal Brown, man, but I think it's Lane Johnson. Now Lane, he's likely gonna be an NFL Hall of Famer. He has turned into just an incredible football player. But we were in the same recruiting class. We went through all of it together.
Mm-hmm.
First in the tight end room, and then once he eventually got to the offensive line in that room. Actually, we were two separate rooms. We were meeting tackles and then interior guys, and that was the dumbest thing ever. I was furious and just constantly complained about it. But he is a dear friend. I think his story is one of the cooler stories. Just from where he came from, what he went through in college, to like where he is now as a player. I think it's pretty cool. So, but other than that, Jamal Brown, he won an Outland Trophy. First round pick as a right tackle before being a right tackle was cool. So I don't know, Ted. What do you think?
I think it should be a full offensive line shot with you at center and your favorite offensive lineman like in the same line with you is what I think.
You think I need to be on this?
Absolutely.
Oh boy. I
Yep.
Why? Can you explain to me why? Help me out.
Because it's going to be your painting at your house telling the story of OU, but also of your time there. And if you put it with five other guys, like you don't, it's not like a solo picture of you. So it's a little bit easier to stomach, I guess, I, that's just what I think.
Okay. That also just really increases the number of guys on the painting.
Not really.
Do I need myself on a painting at my own home? Like my kids know I played football at OU, or I assume they will know at some point.
Do you have any pictures of yourself playing at OU in your house right now?
I
Yes,
have
I can see them on the wall behind you. It's no different than that.
uh it is different because this is a commissioned painting. I'm like, hey man, can you put me on this? It is different.
Yeah, but
But
it's not like it's one of those, the picture of like the Hilton guys that's in all of their hotels that's painted like right whenever you walk in.
like
It's
hanging
that,
over the mantle.
yeah, it's not one of those. It's a That's why I say if you do it with the offensive line and there's going to be at this rate 120 guys on this mural, so you're going to blend in.
Okay. Let's have two strategies here. Because
Okay.
right now, I think it would just be Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Jamal Brown. The other guys I have on my list is Creed Humphrey. I think he's the best center in OU history, and that is no offense to Tom Brahaney, two-time All-American, complete stud. But I think Creed's the best center to ever play at OU. I had Davin Joseph on there. Just look at that guy. My goodness. Just
Yeah.
built in an offensive guard lab. But Greg Roberts, Outland Trophy winner, 1978. I mean, just an absolute stud.
Yeah.
But if I've got to do this significantly increases the offensive numbers now because I have to have, if you include me, I was thinking maybe 2 to 3 offensive linemen. Now we got to get to 5.
Yeah. Well, if you're not going to do that, I would say Trent, Lane, and Creed.
Okay. I could put Creed at guard.
Yeah.
Now he didn't play guard, so maybe that's stupid. But I don't have any.
Could put you at guard.
I was such a going back to the Kenny Stills point. That play,
Yeah.
game winning play. You know who hates that play? Me. You know why? Because I get push pulled to all hell on the ground. Played pretty well in that game. I was still young. I was not a very good guard, Ted, but
Yeah.
everyone loves that play. I love everything about that play. We won the game except for I got you win battles and you lose battles along the offensive line. Lost that one. And there's nothing worse than a game-winning play that people play all the time when you are just getting snatched to the ground.
Can you see it on like the TV
Oh, you
highlight?
can see it on every angle. Every angle, Ted. Every angle. It's brutal. It was a hard fought game. They had some damn good defensive linemen. It's Timmy Jernigan. I think he ended up being like a second round pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good player, but just gets me inside, gets me with the old, oh, he looks up. I relax a little bit, yank. Just classic push pull. Oh,
That's awesome.
I hate that play. I love it, but I hate that play.
That's great.
Trent
All right.
Williams, Lane
Yep.
Johnson. Do I really need to be on it? I did receive several DMs saying, like, dude, you got to put yourself on it. It
Well,
just
there you go.
feels, I don't know. That's going to be
I
this
understand.
decision. This decision will be made by my wife. Here we go. She will make that
Good.
decision.
Good. Because that means it's 100% yes that you'll be on there. So, but I like you passing it off.
You,
Save face moment.
you,
It's
you
big.
know my wife. You clearly do not know her well enough. All right,
She's
we
gonna say,
have
"No, are you kidding me? We already have a bunch of pictures of you in here."
okay. Let's get a count. We've got 2 coaches, Barry
Okay.
Switzer and Bob Stoops, with some type of shout out to Bud Wilkinson, play like
Hmm.
a champion sign, and 47 game win streak. We'll figure that out. We've got Tyler, Baker, Bradford, Jason White, Josh Heupel, and Blake Bell. So that's 6 quarterbacks. So we're up to 8.
Yep.
Landry Jones in the maybe category. Running backs, Adrian Peterson and DeMarco Murray. So we're up to 10. We've got Billy Sims and Joe Washington in the maybes. Man, it feels awfully harsh not having P. Ryan on there.
I know.
I know. Wide receiver, we've got Broyles, Shep, and Kenny Stills.
Yes.
That's 13.
13.
Keith Jackson at tight end, 14. Trey Millard, hurdle stiff arm against Texas. That's 15. And then the offensive line decision to be made. If we just go Trent Williams and Lane Johnson and Creed, then that is 18.
18.
If we get to if you get your wish and we go full line with me at center, that's 20.
It's 20.
20 on offense, which it feels skewed. It feels offensively skewed, but when you factor in the quarterbacks take up some real estate.
The quarterback and coaches,
Coaches, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's I
Yep.
guess, yeah, yeah. I guess technically Bob's on defense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not
We're not as
we're
bad.
not
We're not as bad as we thought.
yeah, we started pretty we thinned it out pretty good. We
All
thinned it
right.
out good.
We got to make some decisions on the defensive side of the ball. But first, fuel your journey at Love's Travel Stops and save 10 cents per gallon on gas and auto diesel. Download the Love's Connect app today. It takes just seconds to unlock savings when you scan your barcode in the app at the pump. This discount and other mobile deals on drinks and snacks are available at more than 640 Love's locations across the country. Before your next trip, download the Love's Connect app, your guide to savings on the road.
And celebrate with a Schooner All American Ale, the official craft beer of OU Athletics from Coop Ale Works. Named after the iconic Sooner schooner that races across Owen Field after an OU score, you can join in on the celebration with an ice cold beer from Coop Ale Works. You can enjoy it at the Palace on the Prairie, at OU Athletic events, at the bar, at the tailgate, and in the comfort of your own home. For more information on Schooner All American Ale, visit schoonerale.com. Must be 21 to purchase. Please drink responsibly. Schooner All American Ale, the taste of game day.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma owned drinkware company and number one drinkware sales leader on Amazon and Target. Can you believe it is already time to start thinking about going back to school? Simple Modern has everything you need to get your kiddos ready for the first day. Think of every character your kiddo loves on everything they need, like backpacks, lunch boxes, and water bottles. They dropped Bluey stuff, Ted. Seems like those are selling
Ah,
well. With just
okay.
a few clicks at simplemodern.com, you can be back to school ready. And with 10% off all profits and 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you know you're helping others too. That's a win-win. That's Simple Modern. Check their amazing products out at simplemodern.com. On to the defensive side of the football. Defensive line. Got a lot of names on here. Leroy Selman, Lucius Selman, Dewey Selman, Gerald McCoy, Tommy Harris, Dan Cody, Tony Casillas, Kelly Gregg, Dusty Dvorak, Jordan Phillips, Cedric Jones, Rick Bryan, Eric Stryker. So I may start with my most controversial take of this
Okay.
entire process. I think I'm just going to only put Leroy Selman on there. He is, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, the best player in OU history.
Mm-hmm.
College Football Hall of Fame, two-time All-American, two-time national champ, Lombardi, Outland, like a first pick of the draft, just NFL Hall of Fame. He is a complete stud. His two brothers are also College Football Hall of Famers and complete studs. But the numbers are tight, man. I feel like if I have Leroy on there, the conversation about the Selman brothers and then now the statue and all of that stuff, I feel like it just comes with it. I feel
Okay.
like he's a figurehead for the entirety of the legacy of the Selman family at Oklahoma. The face you're giving me, I feel like you're about to yell at me.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Now, I think at first so you're saying Leroy Selman, the only Selman, not
The
the only
only
defensive line.
Selman. No,
Okay.
no, 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 no. Gerald
Yeah.
McCoy has to be on there. Tommy Harris has to be on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I don't think there's a problem with that. We got limited real estate. So, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that at all.
Is there anyone else that you really think needs to be on there? I think a lot of people, Tony Casillas, Lombardi, then it goes on, has a really good pro career, College Football Hall of Fame, two-time All-American, but kind of a tough hang, man. Just going to be
Yeah.
real. Did some radio with them, kind of a tough hang.
uh, you know, for defensive line,
Complete
is there,
stud, though.
yes. Is there anyone missing? Uh, I mean, not off the top of my
I,
head.
I, I think I think the next two guys, like I think Jordan Phillips was the best defensive lineman that I played it against or played with at Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and has gone on to have a really really good pro career, but just for whatever reason, and it was injuries in college, just kind of flew under the radar in
Yeah.
college. But I think if I'm going to put anyone else on there, it's either Dusty or Kelly Gregg.
So you're saying Leroy, absolutely. Gerald McCoy, absolutely. Tommy Harris, absolutely. And maybe one more.
Eric Stryker, I don't know if you want to call him a defensive lineman or a linebacker, like
Yeah.
All American. By the way, he's fifth all time in on the OU sacks list. And also him with his helmet off screaming at the Sugar Bowl, just an incredible photo.
Yeah. And
But
he's one of the more entertaining guys. I like there's some guys that you just had to watch every play. Like Baker, you had everyone in the stadiums watching him every play. Like Stryker was kind of the same way defensively. Everything started with him. And he was incredible to watch. Yeah.
Dusty is an interesting one. Great player, close friend. There's some really good pictures with him with the flow coming out of the back of the helmet. I think he was a third team All American,
Yeah,
but
and
also
I've got like this awesome picture of him and Tommy in this room in here. Like for me, this would be like the easiest thing ever. I It would start with Dan Cody, Dusty Dvorak, and Tommy Harris because I played right behind those guys, forever. So that would be easy for me. But I understand, like you got to have Gerald in there, and like you did radio and stuff. You know Kelly Gregg. I
he may be the most underrated OU player ever.
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
He had
100%.
24 TFLs in one season. It was during the dark ages, but he had 24 tackles for loss in a season.
Crazy. I think
Also,
he
just
I
tremendous human. Love that
I
guy.
think he was like that one of the seasons, I think he was like the second leading tackler on the team. Or something like second or third leading tackler on the team. I think he had like almost 100 tackles as a nose guard.
I'm going to put, okay, so our must haves Leroy Selman. He's just going to represent the entire family. Gerald McCoy played together. I give Gerald's got to be on there because he single handedly, not single handedly, but played a large part in me being absolutely miserable as a freshman during my redshirt season, having to
I
block him
bet.
every single day. I
Oh
just,
my
oh,
gosh.
and ultimately, probably why I ended up being an offensive lineman because I got better and better and better going against him every day. Tommy Harris is just, I don't know, I feel like he's iconic when it comes to defensive lineman for Oklahoma.
Hmm.
So those three are must haves. And then I think I'm going to put Dusty in the maybe category for now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, like, because Tommy, like, photos, awesome. Dusty photos, awesome. Like you almost have to include those guys just because they look so like you could make it look so epic, you know?
We've got Dusty in the maybe category. All right. So linebackers, I've got two must haves. Brian Bosworth, two-time Butkus Award winner, OU icon. I just feel like you can't have an OU painting without the Boz on it. That would just be silly.
And there's I don't know, a million like awesome
Awesome
pictures to
photos.
choose. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And then my other backer is Teddy Lehman, two-time
Uh,
All-American, national champ, Butkus Award winner. Fun fact: OU's only Bednarik Award winner,
hmm.
and part of the most iconic play in OU football history. Those are the two I've got. I've got the others I have on my list are Rod Shope, George Cumbie, Daryl Hunt, Curtis Lofton, Rufus Alexander, Stutzman. He's got to play himself into the conversation this year. Maybe the timing of this painting is just bad for Stutzman because
You have to let him know it's like,
if he goes out and wins like SEC Defensive Player of the Year and wins the butt kiss, and then they have a really good season, then yeah, it'll feel silly leaving him off. But the only other guy I have on there is Obo. I loved Obo, but
yeah.
I don't think he's going to make this cut. So I've got the Boz and you. Is there anyone else I need to have on there? When you think about the best linebackers I played with, Travis Lewis, I don't think he's got a spot on there.
Yeah. I think George Cumbie is the best ever at OU. Um, Watching him and Daryl Hunt play together is just stupid. How good those two guys are. Stupid. Um, I mean, Rufus, incredible. Photos, awesome. Stutzman, I think that it may be like you keep Stutzman in the maybe category, and it's like you got to play yourself
You
onto the painting here.
Hey, draw him in later,
Yeah.
paint him in later. So just Lyman and Bosworth.
Well, if you're talking about a must, if you do those two, I think it would kind of you kind of almost have to include Rocky Calmus, don't you?
Buckus Award winner. Just kind of an iconic guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth leading tackler in school history. Also, people just love that dude. So let's
Incredible.
put Rocky in the maybe
Oklahoma
category.
guy. Yep.
Oklahoma guy. You guys all also point to him like as being that guy.
Yep. Yep.
I'm starting to think about all the people I've left off this. Not even on like left off the painting, but the people I left off the list. Like, did we even talk about Greg Pruitt when we were talking about running backs?
No, I don't think so.
College football Hall of Famer, like just complete stud. Tight
That's what
ends
I'm
did
saying. It's like it's the burden of having a great program, man. It's
tight end. Trent Smith was like my guy when I was a little
yeah.
kid. Didn't even talk about him during the tight end section. Sorry, Trent. You deserve to be mentioned there. That's my bad.
No.
But okay, so linebacker, we're going Layman and Bosworth, possible Calmus. Secondary, I've only got two. Roy Williams, clearly the Superman play has to be front and center in this thing. I would assume that him jumping and you catching it, even though you didn't do the horns down in the end zone, Ted, like a complete fool. I assume that will
Tie
be a
that all
focal point.
together. Yeah.
The only other defensive back that I have like as a must have is Derek Strait. All
Yeah.
American, Thorpe, Nagurski. I've got Ricky Dixon on the list as well.
Yeah.
All American, Thorpe, national champ, College Football Hall of Fame. But I've got Roy Williams and Derek Strait as the two must haves in the secondary.
Yeah. I definitely agree with those two. I it's not a stretch at all to put Ricky Dixon in there. I mean, Wolf, since Andre Wolf played both sides, you could incorporate him any way you wanted to. He was incredible. But yeah, I think that's a really good place to start with Roy and D Straight. Yeah.
I don't have any defensive backs that I played with on there, which feels odd. And you think about the best defensive backs I played with: Tony Jefferson,
Yeah.
Aaron Colvin.
Yeah.
Zach Sanchez was young, but ended up being an extremely productive player. I know some people find his Twitter very interesting now. But do I need to have one of those guys on there? Like it feels a little odd not having, but I guess I'm not going to have any linebackers that I played with on there. So I guess it's not that weird.
Um,
None of them were All Americans,
I mean,
which
Tony Jefferson should have been. He was
him
incredible.
going undrafted is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
I know.
And I tweeted as such when it happened. I was like, you people are idiots.
Yeah, he was he's still playing, by the way, right? Is
Yeah, he's I
I
I
think he
thought
just signed like
he
an
was
off-season
done and
deal.
now he's with
Yeah,
the Chargers.
yeah. Um, I think that would if you is there a moment like you could think of that sticks out with Tony Jefferson or Colvin or any of those guys?
Tony Jefferson, there was what? Do you remember he had a 3 interception game, I'm pretty sure. And but I think it was like I want to say it was like Ball State or something like my memory of the defensive side of the ball is limited at best.
Yeah, but I think that's a good place to start with Roy and D Straight.
Okay. No, no kickers and punters.
No kickers and punters. Fair. That's fair.
I thought Antonio Perkins, the only specialists I have on the list are Antonio Perkins, just incredible punt returner.
Yeah.
And then I had Yvonne Shaman, that obviously the kick is one of the most famous plays in OU football history, but I it fit kickers and punters, man. Come on.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like even Antonio Perkins, it's almost kind of hard to like. He's incredible. He's so good at one of the problems is he made it look so easy. I don't even know like what part of it, like what iconic photo or moment that you would capture, but it wouldn't be bad to have him on there.
I don't think any specialists make it.
That's fair. It'd be hard to include a specialist whenever some of the hard decisions you like.
Yeah. That's
You
a
got
great way of looking
Heisman
at it.
guys that aren't on here.
Yeah. Billy Vessels doesn't make it, but a kicker does. No offense,
Right.
you. Great kick, incredible moment. Love that you made it. You're the best. But yeah, no. Okay. So let's recap what we got on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 3 defensive linemen with Leroy Selman, Gerald McCoy, and Tommy Harris. We've got Dusty in the maybe category. We've got 2 linebackers with Bosworth and Teddy Lehman. And then we've got Roy Williams and Derek Strait. So that's only 7 defensive guys. What did we have? We had 18 offensive guys, 2 coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and now 7 defensive guys.
Yeah. You've got
Does Rocky Kalmus go into the needs to be on there category?
yeah, I think maybe Dusty and Rocky.
Okay. Rocky's on. Dusty's on. That gets us to 29.
Yeah. And then if you Tony Jefferson for a guy you played with, if that's a maybe.
Let's revisit the maybes on offense. Landry Jones, Billy Sims, Joe Washington, CD Lamb. And then remember, we've got the offensive line conundrum
Right.
because you want me to be on it.
Yes. Yeah. It's really not much of a conundrum. And since we whenever he said you could probably get away with 30, he's probably means like you could get away with like 34 or 35. He's just trying to keep you in
He's going to listen to this and he's going to be real mad at you, Ted.
well,
I'm sorry, Carlos.
yeah.
Okay. So if we do let's say we do the offensive line situation, the O linemen on there have to be Trent Williams, Lane Johnson. You want me on there. I'm putting Creed on there for building an O line. And then Jamal Brown.
Okay. You won't hear me complain with that.
Didn't even mention Orlando Brown. I feel like he represents that entire Joe Moore award winning group. Nothing
Yeah.
against Ben Powers or Drew Smear or Cody Ford, but I feel like Orlando Brown's kind of the visual representative of that crew.
Yeah.
But do you have Jamal Brown over him?
Well, I would
Okay.
personally, but I can't, I wouldn't argue if someone else had it differently.
Creed, Jamal Brown, Lane, Trent Williams, and then we'll decide if I put myself on there. That will be a decision for my wife.
Okay.
So here's what we've got, people, just to recap. We've got Barry Switzer and Bob Stoops.
Hmm.
That's two. We've got Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford, Jason White, Josh Heupel, and Blake Bell. That is eight. We've got Adrian Peterson and DeMarco Murray. That's 10. We've got Ryan Broyle, Sterling Shepard, and Kenny Stills. That's 13. We've got Keith Jackson. That's 14. Trey Millard makes it 15. If we do the 5 offensive line, that makes it 20. So that's coaches and offense. Defense, we've got Leroy Selman, Gerald McCoy, Tommy Harris, Dusty Dvorak. So that's 4 defensive linemen. We've got 3 linebackers, Bosworth, Kalmus, Lehman. So that's 7 on defense. We've got Roy Williams and Derek Strait. That's 9 on defense.
29.
29. Do we, I mean, he said he'd do 30. We got to add one more, right?
Yeah. If you're going to add one more, uh, do you go back? Do you add
Landry,
It's like Landry, Billy Sims, Joe Washington, CeeDee Lamb,
conversation's over. It's Landry Jones.
bam.
You got to remember, this is not a conversation about it's a conversation about what would mean the most to me. Guy was my
Yeah,
quarterback.
there you go. Easy.
And I feel like this entire conversation just sums up his career. Incredible player, just hated on for I don't know what reason.
Uh, I've told you before, he came in the impossible spot. It's impossible. We won the championship in 2000. There was all the like almost in '03, almost in '04, almost in '08. He's following a Heisman Trophy winner. Like the honeymoon phase with Oklahoma football was over, and the fans were finally angry. It wouldn't have mattered who was in that spot if they didn't win a championship. There was finally anger in the fan base.
Leaving leaving Billy Sims off feels real. I'm gonna give him 31. I'm putting Billy Sims on there. Stop barbecue, it's boomer Q. I'm giving him 31. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
Let's get to call your shot. We asked you guys what 3 OU football players or moments should be at the full focal point of this painting. This first one comes from Juan Blanco, who says Superman, Baker flag plant, and the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're picking 3, what do we? Superman play with you and Roy has to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Baker in some form or fashion, and then part of me just wants to do the Kenny Stills situation that we talked about.
Yeah.
because of how much meaning it has for me.
Yeah.
But I think
I
a
like
lot of
that.
people are going to want to do Kenny's block against Texas, like him laying out, which, by the way, would be illegal now. Stupid.
I I think that that's I don't know how he's going to lay it out, but I think that
Ooh,
you got a good.
this one, this one comes from Sooner, Virginia, who says Leroy Selman, best player in program history. 2, Roy Williams Superman play. 3, the Boz. Runner up, Josh Heupel lifted on his teammate's shoulders after winning the national title.
Mhm.
Jimmy Shaw says, give me Superman to Teddy. Calcaterra's one hand catch and Baker planting the flag. Oh, one person just sent a picture of Torrance Marshall. We didn't even talk about Torrance Marshall. Oh my
I,
gosh.
I know it. I know it. I know it.
Ricky
It's
Claybaugh says Superman, Bradford upside down dive, Baker flag plant.
pretty good.
I think I think the decision's made. Foremost important on this. Superman play. Baker in some form or fashion.
Hmm.
Trey Millard's hurdle stiff arm against Texas in 12th.
Okay.
And then the Kenny Stills after Florida State.
Yeah.
Those four that feels like a good four, a core four.
I like it. I
Okay.
like it. I feel good about it.
We ended up at 31. I thought we were going to end up at like 40, but 31's pretty damn good. And I can always take myself off of it and get to 30.
We made some good hard decisions on there. That was good.
Let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. I'm dreading the YouTube comments on this. It
Yeah,
is going to just be a firestorm. It's going to be fantastic. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first,
all you grill masters, listen up. Didier Ranch delivers premium quality beef that is 100% raised in Oklahoma right to your front door. Go to didierranch.com, DIDIER ranch.com to order one of their premium quality beef boxes and use promo code Oklahoma15 for 15% off your order. Filet, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, steak burgers, they've got it all and they ship anywhere in the continental U.S. And Oklahomans can get deliveries in just 1 to 2 days. The only thing better than having a lot of premium beef on the O&D line is having premium beef delivered right to your front door. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
and head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and some ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. Also, Olympics coming up. Go watch it at the garage. With all the garage locations being open to 10 p.m. or later every night, it's the go to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood.
Attention business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, in the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. Your business wants to be best in class? Connect with Insurica at insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Woo! Big time. The Kimrey family with a massive donation, 20 million, largest single donation in OU athletics history. 10 to baseball, 10 to football. Already had 5 previously, so that takes it up to 25 million that they've given, which is just incredible. The 10 to OU baseball kicking off the road to Omaha donation push to really bring all the baseball facilities up to speed. Just awesome. Um, Fantastic. They've been on a tear raising money lately for OU athletics, so this is kind of the cherry on top. Awesome.
Fantastic news. Loved Well, I love the fact that, people have been talking about investing in the baseball program and what Skip Johnson has done over the last several years with the program. And it feels like that momentum has really built and it's in a good place,
Yep.
which I think they were a really exciting baseball team this season. I know that ultimately they didn't get where they wanted to go, but it's a really fun team to watch. And Skip remains one of the most likable human beings on planet Earth. But football can never have too much money.
Yep. Yeah. That's the thing is it all starts with football, and that's going to be the cash cow. So you've always got to keep it at the top of the list. But that's big. And I don't know what they've settled on any of the actual plans, but some of the mock-ups and ideas that they've thrown out there for OU baseball look pretty good.
Kind of sets the tone. You look at what the Kimrey family did. That's stuff that other big time donors see and go, okay, you've set the bar, you've set the tone. And that's one of those things. I know it sounds silly, but big time donations like this, other big time donors see it. Not only other OU donors, but other donors across the country going, okay,
Yep.
makes it a
Yeah.
little competition, which is fun, but it just incredible, incredible stuff from the Kimray family. 25 billion bucks, dude. That's a lot of cash.
A lot of cash. Yeah, that's incredible. That's big time. So yeah, they're gonna stretch that a long way. Baseball is in a good spot, but they need help. And I think that like the facility stuff was probably a big part of them being able to keep Skip Johnson around. I mean, your head baseball coach right now is a hot commodity out there. So in order to keep him, you're gonna have to bring the facilities up to par.
Yep. Fantastic stuff. That's awesome. You're the best, Kimray family. All right. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
This was funny to me. Uh, the Canadian women's soccer coaching staff
Oh,
flying a spy drone over New Zealand's practice.
so if you're unaware, and I read one article about it this morning. The Olympics, I think Olympic soccer starts today.
Yeah,
Don't
it
we
starts
don't the
either
United States men
today or
play today?
oh, do they? Yeah, I think maybe the women start. I don't, maybe it's today, but yeah, it starts early, and I guess they're out there at the practice facilities, and they took the old drone over the top of practice. It's crazy to me because what could possibly be gained in soccer in spying on a practice?
I and as far as I know, it's soccer's interesting. And now I've clearly never played any big time soccer, but their training sessions, a lot of the time they're working on fundamentals and stuff and not it's not like they're running through a bunch of plays. Like soccer practice is strange.
Yeah,
Like they get in like small groups and do different things. So that I don't know what. And I saw that the person. So they saw the drone flying overhead. They called the police, who found the person, and it was later identified as a member of the quote wider Canadian women's football team. What does that mean? Non-accredited member of the Canada soccer support team.
so probably just like someone that's maybe not listed as a staff member, but is like maybe family member, someone that's just kind of there on the trip with them.
Did they do we this feels very Connor Stallions ish. Like, hey, I'm gonna make a name for myself. I'm gonna go film their practice and bring it to the staff.
Well,
This
see,
person wasn't acting alone, right? And I think it's important to mention that New Zealand and Canada are in the same group in the Olympics.
yeah,
They're
aren't
going to
they the
play each
first
other.
game? Yeah, I think that's their game. I think
They
they were like,
yeah, they play tomorrow.
yeah, I think it's just a I don't know, massive risk. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I just don't know that there's anything to gain. Like if you go spy on a football practice, you're talking about something totally different. Like soccer, I don't know. Is it worth the I mean, big risk, big reward. Like if you were spying on a football practice, soccer seems like big risk, almost no reward.
Do you think there's some football coaches across the country going, damn it, we were totally going to do that. Now we can't do it.
Yes. I the
How high can you fly a drone to where you can see and someone can't hear the drone?
oh, not very high. I mean, you don't have to be that far away at all. I mean, it's more about how good's the camera on there than it is anything. I mean, if you got a great camera and you've just got a clear shot, you could be pretty far away where there's no way they could hear.
Something to think about.
Yes.
I I don't know why, but Canada's the last country I thought that would do something like this.
Well, hey, there's a lot on the line. Olympic gold on the line because they won it last, right?
Yeah,
Canada.
they got it. They got a squad, so that's where
It's the other thing.
they are. They that
Minimal
nervous
reward.
about New Zealand?
No, don't know.
Let's get to my winner and loser. But first, what if for the rest of 2024 you got a little bit better every day? When you're learning a new language with Babbel, that's exactly what you're doing. 1 in 5 Americans have learn a new language on their bucket list. If that's you, make 2024 the year for you, finally the year that you finally check it off the list with Babbel. Here's a special offer for our listeners and only for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Oklahoma. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Just use Babbel. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Travel a lot? Ted, best believe next trip we take, going abroad, going to use some Babbel to learn the language. Want to
Love
greet
it.
people, order at the restaurants, do as the locals do, ask for directions when I get lost in the local language. Just want to do all that kind of stuff. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/Oklahoma. That's BABBEL.com/Oklahoma. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they're honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you're headed. Open an account at an award winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
And head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU football gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com and use promo code TED, TED for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off. For my winner of the week, thought about going with CD Lamb. Get that money.
Woo.
Get that money, CD. You may have not made the painting, but go get that money, young man. Is not going to report to Cowboys training camp, holding out. Hey, Jerry Jones, pay the man. Justin Jefferson got 4 for $140. I don't want to hear that. Oh, there's no income tax in Texas. He should take a little less because of that. No, 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 Jerry. Pay the man his money. First team All Pro, Jerry. Pay the man his money.
Don't you know whenever Justin Jefferson got that contract, everyone around the league was like, damn it. This is just as soon as you set that bar, baby, here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah, CD's about to I mean, what, 30, he'll be in the 30 plus $1 million range, right? A year.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean,
Woo.
I assume what he led the league in receptions last year. I think he was second in yards. He wants to be the highest paid wide receiver in football.
Sure he does.
So I assume that is what his representation is trying to make happen, and we'll see where it lands. But kind of sounds like they're far apart just from some of the reporting. So Dak Prescott can't love that.
No, no. I'm not worried about him not reporting though. Receiver, it's one of those positions that like, how much do they need to be there in the daily grind of training camp? Like if you got a $35 million a year wide receiver, it's like just let's get some work in, but we don't need anything happening to you.
Fair enough.
Keep the Ferrari in the garage.
Get that money, CD. Let's go. But my winner of the week, LeBron James. He has been awesome
Mm-hmm.
leading up to the Olympics, has been clutch. Game winner against South Sudan, took over in the fourth quarter in a close one against Germany earlier this week. Dude is 39 years old. And unless my eyes are lying to me, looks like the best player on the team. Looks like the best player on the team. Looks like the best guy we got. And I've said it many times. I think he is the best athlete ever. And I believe that's one of the reasons why he will be carrying the flag for the United States of America during opening ceremonies, which Ted, I can't imagine as an athlete that there are many honors better than that. Like you go to the Olympics and you get to carry the flag and represent your country. Pretty, pretty damn cool for LeBron James. Solid week. Solid week for LeBron James.
Yeah, I saw that. You may have saw this on Twitter, but someone said if you're asking how LeBron looks so athletic at 39, it's because this is what he looked like in his prime, and it's like a highlight. Did you see that?
Yeah, where his
Oh
head
my
is well above the rim on a
God.
ridiculous amount of it's insane though. The first basket of that Germany game, he gets it like on a fast break, goes underneath the rim like the classic twists his body, dunks it behind his head with two hands. Guy
Wild
is
man.
just a mutant. He's
He
insane.
he is, and I yeah, he best athlete ever. It's hard to argue with that because I he you could cross him over into a bunch of different sports. Oh, we were just talking about soccer. Could have easily been the greatest goalkeeper of all time. Like that would be like the perfect position for a guy that's 6'8" and that athletic. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He he's awesome in international basketball
Yeah.
because like it's less about pace and space. There's less space. It's more about physicality and strength.
Yeah.
Dude, he's just so big and strong. He's got that old man strength now. No one can stop him, or at least from what I've seen, no one's been able to stop him from getting exactly where he wants to get on the court. There are some plays in that Germany game where it looked like a dad playing against his kids, like his teenagers, just like I'm stronger than you. I'm getting right to the block and laying it in. Like
Uh,
it was pretty fun to watch. But dude, just what he's doing at 39 is insane. I'm not exactly sure the Lakers are. They can't be overly thrilled that this team is so reliant on him playing so
right.
many minutes. But I am. I love international basketball. I love watching basketball in the Olympics. Ted, I'm really fired up for watching this team.
Yeah. It's who's do you know who the biggest competition is going to be?
Germany, Canada, France. That's kind of that feels like because remember Canada's got, I mean they got some really good players led by SGA,
Yeah.
and then France has Wemby and Rudy Gobert and several other NBA players. So it'll be, I mean we're the favorite to win the gold. It'll be a big disappointment if we don't. I think my hottest take, I've got two. I don't know if they're hot takes or not. I think Chet Holmgren should be on the team instead of Joel Embiid.
Really?
Embiid just looks, he does not look 100%, doesn't look great physically. And I understand that it's a slower pace and it's more physical. And I get that. And Embiid is just a giant human. But I don't know. I think just Chet would bring more at this time. He's a better rim protector. And right now, one of the biggest issues for Team USA's defense is when teams are getting Embiid in the pick and roll and like he's just playing drop. And I don't know. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
And also just makes me nervous. I don't want Embiid to get hurt.
No, I'm with you. I don't want Chet to get hurt.
Yeah,
I'd rather Embiid get hurt than Chet.
yeah. I think would Chet have some issues with like some of the strength of some of the guys? Would they go at him a little bit? Yeah, but I think he would. I don't know, and I also would really like him to get that experience.
That's what I was about to say. Like that's that, and he seems kind of hungry for it at this point. So, yeah.
Durant has a strained calf. I don't
Careful.
like him, man. I just please I do. Now Steve Kerr said there's no thought to replacing Kevin Durant on the Olympic team. Maybe they're being super duper cautious. It's the other leg. It's not the leg where he had the calf issue and then blew his Achilles out right in front of Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Just please
Well,
don't rush Kevin Durant back. Ted, I just don't like how it feels. I don't like the sound of it. It would just be a catastrophe, man. Kevin Durant, please be smart.
be smart. Yeah. Well, and they got what? They've got a little bit of time before they have to finalize that decision
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
Now, if you are a person, and maybe you're not a huge NBA person, you don't like all the complaining, you don't like the, let's call it theatrics of the NBA, then Olympics basketball is for you. And that is the one of the things I've watched all of their kind of tune up games for the Olympics. There is so much less complaining. There are very few flops, very few theatrics from these guys. All that stuff that annoys a lot of people during the NBA season, Ted, somehow it just magically all disappears.
Yeah. It's
Which
amazing what
is
happens.
it's refreshing, man. It's nice. It's like it feels like it's just about the basketball and not all the other stuff. And I love points. I love pace. I love space. I love all that. But this is just such a nice change up to watch. I think if you're someone that is annoyed by the NBA and some of that stuff, I encourage you to give Olympics basketball a chance because it's super intense and physical, and it's just the guys stop complaining to the refs, which is it's really nice to watch. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
It's amazing how quickly the behavior changes whenever you stop rewarding it, right?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Go win gold, boys. Let's go.
Yeah.
My loser of the week. Thought about going with Joe Burrow.
You don't like the hair?
I kind of love it, but did he need to do it? Remember, what was it a couple of weeks ago? He's rocking the backless suit jacket at the Vogue show in Paris for Fashion Week, and now he's got the Slim Shady Buzz blonde cut. Like, he just seems to stay in the headlines now, Ted. Also, the one
Yeah.
thing everyone's talking about the hair. That picture of Joe Burrow, he's
Yeah,
looking
I
thick,
agree.
two C's thick.
I thought the exact same thing. I got to back up though. You said he was at the runway at Vogue's Paris Fashion Week show.
Correct. And he wore a suit, and the back of it was like cut out, and there was like a white little like ruffle thing back there. Yeah,
I, and everyone's got their different interests. I can't think of a place that I would want to be at less than Vogue's Paris Fashion Week show. With how much limited a time you have in the off season, what the hell is he doing at that crap?
likes fashion, man. I don't know. All these guys have their different interests.
I guess so. Yeah. I get it.
Loser of the week, though, Green Bay Packers.
Ah,
Training camp has started, and Jordan Love is there, which is a good sign. He's there. He's going through meetings. He's doing all that stuff, but he is not practicing, nor will he practice or play until he gets a new contract. Reminder, Packers did not pick up his 5th-year option. Remember, he was a fifth round pick, a first round pick. They didn't pick up that 5th-year option. Instead, signed a mini extension. They added one more year to his rookie deal, which is this year. He's only supposed to make $11 million this year. Clearly, Jordan Love wants a lot more than that. Ted, it's never ideal when your starting quarterback is not with you to start training camp, or at least he's not on the practice field getting reps with your first team offense. And this feels like an interesting situation for the Packers. There's no doubt. Jordan Love had a solid year last year, especially. He was really strong to end the season. But you've got one season of production. One.
yeah.
Are you about to hand that guy 50 million a year? Remember, Jacksonville just signed Trevor Lawrence, 55 a year. $55 million a year for Trevor Lawrence. Like, is that what Jordan Love expects? Is that what he deserves? I don't know. It feels like a really interesting situation for the Packers.
Well, yeah. It's wild because yeah, this is a little bit different than CD Lamb. Wide receiver, keep the Ferrari in the garage. Uh, Quarterback, not the same situation. You absolutely need your quarterback out there with you throughout training camp. So, like, some of that's factored in. Like, how much would you pay to have your quarterback with your team throughout training camp just alone? You know what I'm saying? It's not like that's worth some money just by itself. But man, is Jordan Love a $50 million a year kind of guy? There's no way. But unfortunately, that's pretty close to where the market is. I mean, you start looking at the quarterbacks that were in the playoffs last year. Most of them are in that 40 to $50 million a year range, except for the guys that were on, like Purdy, who was on his rookie deal. Baker just re-upped for, what did he end up at, like 30-ish, 30, in between 30 and 35 a year. I mean, that's the floor, 35 a year for Jordan Love, right?
I
You want to
think the
do it? I
I
would do
think
it
the floor
now.
is more like 50.
Well, the point
Because
is, it ain't going to go down if you kick the can. It's only going to go up. I mean, think about Patrick Mahomes, like record breaking, jaw dropping deal that whenever he signed it, it's like a par deal now. So get it done. Quit wasting time.
he's super talented.
Yeah.
I mean, he is super talented, but remember, one season of production. And yes, they beat the Cowboys in the wild card game, lost in a close one to San Francisco in the divisional round. But this is also why the Green Bay Packers are my loser of the week. NFL fans get so excited about the clips at the start of training camp. Like how many overreactions have you seen to Mahomes throwing that one pass to Xavier Worthy? It's like, oh my God, they're gonna be unstoppable.
Xavier Ward, he's going to lead the NFL in receiving.
But I mean, you've seen that bomb to Xavier Worthy over and over and over again. And Chiefs fans are getting to enjoy that, and it just gets them so excited for the season. Hell, Giants fans are going to get to see Daniel Jones, and that dude tore his ACL like 8 months ago. They're going to get Daniel Jones highlights of him slinging the rock, and poor Packers fans are just going, the starting quarterback's not out there. We can't get excited about any of these clips. We can't get excited about anything because our guy's not out there. And that's the most fun part of training camp. Like the start of training camp for fans is seeing those clips from practice and Packers fans get none of them.
Here's the thing. It's like, how long have you been thinking about this or talking about it? Right?
The
It's
entire
not,
offseason.
yeah, it's not like all of a sudden they got a phone call a couple days before training camp and it's like, hey, guys, listen, I'm going to hold out. It's like, what? What? How? What's your other option? What else are you going to do if you're the Packers? You're going to let him go? Just move on without him? Find him every single day and then I don't even know who their backup is. Do you? I mean, like everyone knows what's going to happen. You're going to have to sign him to a new contract. There's no point delaying it. Get it done now. Don't hurt your football team. It always gets done. Does it ever not get done other than Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, it didn't get done for the whole season there. That one was crazy.
Didn't get done then and never got done
Get it,
again.
get it done, Gutekunst. But Sean Clifford will handle the first team snaps.
Penn State? Isn't that where he went to school?
Yeah, very polarizing player with this time with the Nittany Lions.
Hey, this is yeah, watch it'll take 2 days of training camp with Sean Clifford playing quarterback for him before they're like, okay, how much do you want? Let's get it done. 55 million a year.
Sean Clifford, and guess who we will split first team reps with? This guy came to Norman a couple years ago, and we loved him
Came to Norman
as a player, as a quarterback,
came to Norman as a
and we
quarterback.
loved him. Sang his praises after the game on this very podcast.
Wait a second. He played for OU?
No, played
Oh,
against
okay.
OU.
Played against Tulane's quarterback?
Yes, Michael
Oh,
Pratt.
okay. Watch out, Jordan Love.
Watch out,
Watch.
Jordan Love. That's not a guy. Hey, don't give that guy an opening.
No, no, no. Okay. No wonder Green Bay
Guy
hasn't
got
signed him
hit
to.
a million times. It was awesome in that football game.
They must have went to like mini camp and OTAs are like, hey, let's hold off on that $55 million contract for Jordan Love. Let's get a week or two of training camp, see how he looks. We may just keep old Jordan Love on the shelf and have him pay us throughout the season.
Yeah. Birthday shout outs. Happy belated birthday to Shane Turley.
Congrats to Jordan and Devlin on getting engaged.
Devonlin?
What did I say?
I don't know what you said. It's Jordan and Devonlin, right?
Devonlin. I think I said Devlin. Devonlin. Yeah. Congrats
Congrats
to
on the
Jordan and
engagement.
Devonlin. Yeah.
Congrats,
Nice.
guys. On that note, episode 442 in the books. Ted, how are we feeling about the painting?
I feel great about it.
Okay.
I think it's going to be amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the YouTube comments how you feel about it. And it's not too late. There's not paint to canvas yet, but I will be getting this information to Carlos Barboza tonight. Got to pick some
Awesome.
pictures, Ted. I'll be sending you some text, this or that. We're gonna have some. It's like when you're at the eye doctor, one or two, one or two. That's what it's going to be like. All right. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Season's right around the corner, people.
Mm.
Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.